And immunity, I don't know that we think of CoQ10 as being immune competent, but it is. It says age-related mitochondrial dysfunction as a key factor in COVID-19 disease. Now, I'm not saying to anybody that our product is going to address COVID-19 because that's against the law. Okay. But I also believe that we have a responsibility to pay attention to what science tells us and empower people. So I'm not suggesting that you take our product to prevent COVID-19. I'm only telling you here's a bit of information you might want to know. Am I streaming to Facebook? No, okay, good. Whew. I thought I heard sirens. Mitochondrial dysfunction is one of the hallmarks of aging and COVID-19 risk factors. Did you know that? Did anybody come out and tell you, hey, your mitochondria may be partly to blame for your susceptibility to this? Why are so many of us susceptible to this? Why do some not and some are? Okay? Good questions to ask. They're still trying to figure that out. Dysfunctional mitochondria is associated with defective immunological response to viral infection and chronic disease. Okay. Wow. So dysfunctional mitochondria, which we know they just told us that if you don't have enough CoQ10, you're going to promote mitochondrial dysfunction. What they're saying is that mitochondrial dysfunction is associated with defective immunological response to viral infections and chronic disease. Well, you know, the seasonal flu is a virus. Okay. There are a lot of viruses around. COVID is a virus. You know, you're going to experience viruses all over the place. You know, there's another one coming. They've been coming forever. They will come forever. You know, they've been here since day one. Okay. Viruses have been around a long time. And we have adapted, I guess, would be a way to do it. Those of us who have survived, those of us who are here in the room, have ancestors a long, long, long way back there that survived those challenges. Okay? But they keep coming. So these are things to know. We suggest that here, that chronic inflammation caused by mitochondrial dysfunction, we heard that that's a function, an outcome of mitochondrial dysfunction, is responsible for the explosive release of inflammatory cytokines causing severe pneumonia, multi-organ failure, and finally death in COVID-19. Now, if you remember, we were hearing about people would get in, they'd put them on the respirator, and they have this big explosion of what they call the cytokine storm, right? And it's your body's immune system overreacting to this stimulus. In most cases, you want cytokines to come around and do that job. In this particular case, you don't. And one of the drivers of this seems to be, again, another imbalance in the body that supports that overreaction of cytokine response, or the absence of things like CoQ10 that undermine the body's immune system tend to promote that COVID-19 getting such a big grip of us. Preventive treatments such as, based on therapies improving mitochondrial turnover, dynamic activity, would be essential to protect us from COVID-19's severity. So, you know, think of all the things that promote your mitochondria, keep them functional. CoQ10 is a big one, and B12 is a big one, and there's a, you know, all of those things. If you think about it, if mitochondria is like a cell within a cell, it's got membranes, it's got transport systems. Mitochondria has to take in nutrients, produce what it does, and eliminate waste, just like a cell. So they are cells within cells. By the way, just as an aside, because I like to waste time, you know, but this is an important thing to note, especially for the ladies. You know that men, all of our mitochondria is female. There's no such thing as male mitochondria. Yeah. You know why? You know why? Because in God's plan, the women produce the egg, and the man only fertilizes it. And the mitochondria only exist in the egg. So all of the mitochondria in the world ever are thanks to our women. Okay? So, yeah, mitochondrial DNA, it's all female. Explains a lot, doesn't it? Did you know that? Did you have any idea of that before? Cool little facts to know. So here's what happens with your CoQ10 levels as you age. We know this. This is not something the company made up. This is a graphic rendition of data. But that's what happens as you age. Your CoQ10, your body's ability to produce it internally, diminishes rather sharply from its starting point up here. This is your heart beats 100,000 times a day, and ubiquinone, CoQ10, is needed for every one of those. It's actually needed for every one of the trillions and trillions and trillions of metabolic functions that occur in your body every day. Have I ever done my presentation to you about the speed of life? Not the speed of light, but the speed of light? I'll come back and do it sometime. The numbers are staggering. Well, you get trillions of cells, and each one of them is doing hundreds of thousands of biochemical reactions per second. Who wrote the software for that? So here's the Neolife solution, CoQ10, naturally sourced CoQ10. That's important because the vast majority of it that's on the market does not come from natural sources. Okay? We waited a long time, took us a long time to get to a natural source. We refused to bring the synthetic sources into the product line simply because we don't like synthetic things in our product line, and it doesn't perform as well in the body. So it's got Neolife's mitogenic, phytolipid, and sterol blend. Mitogenesis means the creation of new mitochondria. Mitogenesis, you all know Genesis. Just put mito in front of it or mitochondria in front of it. So it's mitogenesis. When you make new cells, you got to make new mitochondria, right? And you need certain things to promote the production, the building new mitochondria inside those cells. It's not just about membranes and so on. So we made sure that everything that the body needs to promote mitogenesis is in there. Probably a proprietary polyphenol blend. That polyphenol is directly involved in managing the relationship between oxidative stress in the mitochondria and CoQ10. L-lysine, because that's a key amino acid that's involved in the formation of the ATP that goes on inside that cell to make energy. And we have it dispersed in a lipid matrix that improves bioavailability rather dramatically.